Today we're going to make a bookmark weaving. Looks like kind of like this. Once you've finished your other weaving, your weaving like placemat deal, you're going to show it to me, you'll get a thumbs up, and I'll check it off in my grade book, and then you'll start doing what we're going to call independent work time. And during your independent work time, you're going to make a bookmark. Here's an example of what it looks like. Notice how it follows the same procedure as our other one. And here's one that's kind of in the process of being made. So what you're going to do is you're going to find any old scrap of paper. There are scrap boxes at the front of the room with all different colors papers in them. And you're going to find a scrap paper. Here's a scrap paper. Okay, it's this long strip of paper. Basically you're going to choose one and you're going to make it maybe about as long as your hand. Maybe a little bit longer. Depends on how long you want it. Okay, and I'm going to have mine about this size. Just cut any scrap. Doesn't matter how big or how wide it is. I like to have my bookmarks a little thinner, but what you're going to do is you're going to fold your paper in half, just like we did for our other black piece of paper. Then you can cut the edges to kind of like make it an interesting shape. And here's my interestingly shaped bookmark. And then you're going to cut a few lines. So here's what my bookmark is going to end up looking like later. Okay, but then you want to make some lines. Remember, you're not going to cut all the way off the edge. You're just going to cut up here, and the more lines you make, the harder it is. And I'm going to make mine wiggly because I like the wiggly lines. Okay, and remember, you want to have your lines about the same width as, I'd say, a little bit wider, just a little bit wider than your pinky. Maybe your pinky or a little bit wider. And you're going to open it up. Okay, so here's my bookmark. Then you're going to take any color strips that you want. You don't have to follow analogous colors. You don't have to follow any kind of color scheme. You can use whatever you want. You're going to get one strip like this, and you're going to cut it in half. Okay, you can see how I'm just kind of holding it gently, and I just kind of cut right down the center. If it's a little bigger, a little smaller on one side, that's fine. Just so that the paper strips are about the same size as the lines you cut into your bookmark. Okay, so I'm going to get a purple one, I'm going to do an orange one, and a red one. Now you can do as many colors as you want. I'd say try to stick to 3 or 4 colors. Just so it's a little more interesting and complicated than our first one, but maybe not so complicated that it takes you forever to do. So once you have your paper cut, okay, then you're going to start thinking of your pattern. And this one, make it whatever you want as far as your colors and pattern are concerned. Here's my 3 colors. I'm going to start with my A color. I'm going to make my A color red. I'm just going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, just like I did before. Okay, and then I'm going to choose my next color. I'm going to do the opposite pattern, just like we did before. Okay, with our other weaving, with our weaving placemat thing. But now you have a third color, and your third color has to be the same as your first color, right? So we're going to kind of slide these up so they're nice and horizontal. Okay, and then you're going to take a third color and do your third color like this. And then this is the kind of fun part, because you get to rip the paper a little bit. You're going to take your 3 colors, and now you're going to start over with your first one. Okay, so I'm just going to take this paper and I'm going to put my finger down here, and I'm just going to rip it. And I'm going to start with it for my next one here. And now my 2 reds are going to be opposite patterns. So you're going to have to use your bright, intelligent minds and kind of figure out what your pattern is, the over and under, because your colors are going to be changing all the time. So my A color is now doing my B pattern, not my A pattern, right? It's different. Okay, my purple one is going to be a different pattern now, because it has to follow the B pattern, or the A pattern, but it's the B color, right? Okay, so you're going to have to like constantly be thinking of, Well, now am I going over? Am I going under? Am I going over? Am I going under? I don't know. You have to figure it out. You have to think. You have to use your own brain. I'm not giving you a step-by-step instruction list. You have to just figure it out, which is kind of hard in one sense, but very good for you in another sense that you're going to be thinking about it, and you're really going to be applying what you have learned to making something useful, like your bookmark. Okay? At the end, when you've got the whole thing done, and it looks full, like this one, like that one, you're going to bring it to me. I'll see that it's done. If it is, I'll tape it on both sides. I'll tape it all together so that you can have a nice bookmark. What you're going to do when you're done is you're going to take your scissors, and you're going to, before you bring it to me, you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to trim these edges back down so that your pattern looks nice. Okay, so you don't have little pieces of scrap paper hanging over the edge. And then you'll bring it, once it's trimmed, you'll bring it to me and I will tape it. Okay, so remember, you're going to choose 3 to 4 colors. You're going to just use scrap paper and these extra little strips, and I'll finish the video in just a minute with that one. Okay?